Make it make sense. By now, you all have heard some excerpts from Gypsy's book, My Time to Stand. You are probably as confused as I am with all the inconsistencies found in what she says in the book versus what she has said in multiple interviews. Also, just reading from one page to the next, she will contradict what she just said. In this video, I will go over a few of these with you. I think it would take hours to go over all of them, so I won't torture you with all that. She threatened Dan one more time and later told all our mutual acquaintances that he was a pedophile. I never heard from him again. When we got home, Mama tore through my backpack. Upon seeing the lingerie, she made me take a pregnancy test. If you're pregnant, she scowled, you are getting an abortion. I went into the bathroom and looked in the mirror, something Mama told me I should never do on Good Friday. You will see Jesus dying on the cross if you look at yourself. Avoid the mirror on Good Friday, she used to say. She printed a picture of Dan from his Facebook page and then smashed my laptop and my track phone. She took a mason jar and shoved a picture of me and a picture of Dan into it with a cow's tongue. The tongue was to represent silencing me. She dropped a piece of toilet paper that had some of my period blood in the jar and buried it in the backyard not far from the shed. So my question is, why would her mom scream that Gypsy needed a pregnancy test if she knew she was on her period? She threatened Dan one more time and later told all our mutual acquaintances that he was a pedophile. I never heard from him again. This was early 2011, so Gypsy was still 19, but in July would turn 20. She had to have heard from him again, or why would Nick have mentioned Dan during his interrogation? He said he would apologize to everyone except for Dan. Gypsy texted Nick before he got to her house that she wanted to have smecks with some other man at a cupcake shop. Everyone assumes she is talking about Dan. Also, Dan was in court for Nick and was on the stand talking about his own relationship with Gypsy. Obviously, she saw him again after 2011 since the murder happened in 2015. She walked us past the bald patch in the grass, where the cursed mason jar was buried, and brought me to the shed. When we were first given the Habitat for Humanity house, the program workers found out that I wished for a playhouse. So they painted the shed the same pink color as our house and made it look like a miniature version, a playhouse just for Gypsy. But as you can see by the crime scene photos, the shed was never pink. It was blue. Except I never went out there. For one thing, my mother never let me outside. There was never a moment during the day when Mama would ever say, "Let's get outside and get some sun on our face." Never. Here are pictures of Gypsy with Dee Dee in the nice warm sunshine. She's at a park which looks like one of Gypsy's birthday parties. They are on a boat together. And of course, we can't forget their trips to Disney World. Second, I am afraid of bugs, and bugs were everywhere in the shed. The shed might have looked like a mini house, but the inside floor was made of dirt, where slugs and fire ants and worse, spiders, lived. As you can see from this picture, the outdoor shed had a floor with carpeting on it. There was no dirt floor. We have all heard the rumors about Ken and Gypsy breaking up recently. Then we saw them together at their baby shower and together again at Thanksgiving in Florida. So what is the truth? Are the pictures just for show? Where is Ken? Word on YouTube Street is that he moved back to Dallas. It's hard to tell through. Sometimes I think they pull stunts like this just to get people to talk about them. However, Cowboy Bear said on Sir Morbid Live a week ago that he can confirm that Ken and Gypsy are no longer together. He wanted to tell us more, but he signed an NDA with Lifetime and can't speak about anything more about it. He also disclosed that there will be something coming out with HBO soon that he is a part of as well. This smacks of Cowboy being in on the whole thing. I'm looking at this with a whole new perspective now. I'm starting to as well, but I think it's different than the initial assumption. Like Cowboy Bear and Steve Wood might have been baited by Lifetime to out Ken and embarrass her. But why? To see what her reaction would be, or maybe just because it would bring in the views. I'm probably wrong, but I do think there is a conspiracy to this situation. I kind of feel like Gypsy is in on it, and possibly Ken as well, to bait the public because her whole new season is focused on all the hate she is getting. I always thought it was weird that Ken would jump on Morbid to confront Cowboy. Why would he do that? Because it's part of the Lifetime drama. Cowboy Bear and Steve Wood are supposed to be on the show this season, and then there is going to be a thing on HBO with Cowboy Bear. Unless he's lying? But I doubt that. He also tries to change the subject or jump down when they start talking about Gypsy's unfortunate appearance, which I thought was odd. Just last night, he interrupted when they were talking about her lack of looks to say the only reason he commented on Gypsy's post to begin with was because Ken didn't practice safe sex and he was worried that Ken would bring home a disease to her. Edit. Like, he was making an excuse for being involved in a conversation about Gypsy's appearance, like saying, "I'm not a hater," by going in with his story about his reason for commenting on Gypsy's post. That's what I'm saying. I smell a setup. Thinking back on this, but why would Cowboy Bear make the habit of mentioning his fear of Gypsy contracting a disease or the baby due to Ken's unprotected sex? Obviously, he knew Gypsy was pregnant, so she already knew Ken didn't like wearing protection. He has also mentioned this 3 times. Cowboy Bear is going to be on an HBO special about all this, and Steve Wood is also going to be on Lifetime. Gypsy is allegedly pregnant, although she has lost a significant amount of weight, and Ken has aged decades in months. What if Cowboy Bear was warning Gypsy that Ken has a disease out of concern for the baby, and this is why Gypsy is getting extremely thin while heavily pregnant? Why else would they spin this into an HBO special and drag Steve Wood into the Lifetime season? Just thoughts and speculations on my part. But the idea of turning it into a special about cyberbullying is just so dull and overplayed, nobody would really care. However, an HBO special about a convicted murderer leaving her husband and contracting a disease while pregnant from her lover would be something people would watch. Why would he go back to Dallas if she's having his baby? Doesn't add up. Gotta be Ryan's. Because Gypsy's PR team likely advised her to create drama to get heat off her. She is known for leaking info to certain content creators, so they'll leak it for her, and then she comes out acting all outrage, like, who the hell do you think you are? She too embarrassed to say Ken dumped her ass. Who is Cowboy Bear? A man Ken hooked up with on Grindr. Steve Wood was a man he was in a situationship with, they had photographs together, and he was really messy when he announced himself on Gypsy's Facebook, demanding his stuff back from Ken and announcing her pregnancy. And Morbid said that when he talked to Ken, that he admitted to knowing Cowboy Bear. I don't believe it was a hoax. I know Christy was on NC Live saying they're still together. But if you listen her talking about who the snake might be, and she will find them, she slips up and pauses. Basically, if this was a false narrative, they wouldn't be going after the snake as hard as they are. You only go hard when the truth is being told. I also heard her slip and say when Ken and Gypsy were together. That same live, I believe. Right after Nina posted about Ken moving back to Texas, and in with his mom, Ken posted this. People were speculating that this was taken in Louisiana and that it was still warm enough for shorts there in December. But a web sleuth found where the background hotel was at. It was in Palm Beach, Florida. This means the picture was taken at Thanksgiving time and not recently. Credit goes to Marion Barry Wild 5401 on Reddit for finding this. So tell me what you think in the comments, guys. Is everything we read and see a lie when it comes from Gypsy or her crew? What is really going on? Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you all.